Should we start with George Hirst? Number 9 on his back, bagged a brace. Good way to start pre-season, and he looks sharp.
He did look sharp, and forget what stage of pre-season it is, the strength of the opposition, and I don't think it was a poor opposition by any stretch. Actually, that was a competitive game. I thought it was just the right level of opposition. We spoke to a few locals here that sort of said, "Oh, Austrian Bundesliga, it's not so good. It's obviously not at the level of the Championship. Certainly a team that's just dropped down from the Premier League." A few pessimistic predictions from some Austrian football fans that we'd been speaking to, but they are further ahead in their preparations. I believe they start their season with a cup game next weekend, and I think they played 3 pre-season games prior to this. They've beaten Fortuna Düsseldorf in one of them, so they're no mugs, as Mick McCarthy would say. And so I thought the first thing to say was it was an entertaining, competitive game. Had a little bit of bite to it. And you mentioned George Hirst. I thought he set the tone inside the first 30 odd seconds, where he left a bit, dare I say it, in Liam Delap style on one of their centre halves, didn't he? A little bit late, left him in an absolute heap. So that set the tone. Got his 2 goals. The first was sent the goalkeeper the wrong way from the spot, and the second was a kind of a classic George Hirst running off the last shoulder, took it on the run nicely. Getting that number 9 shirt, and it looks like that's going to be the case because pretty much everyone wore their squad numbers from last season. Hirst took the number 9, which I was looking back through it, who last had the number 9. It went from I think Caden Jackson to Joe Pigott to remind me who had it after him, Freddie Ladapo, thank you. And then Ipswich kind of left it vacant going into the start of last season because clearly they were keeping it back for a striker that never arrived. That probably was being kept in mind for Armando Broja or Latte Lath, who they couldn't get done on deadline day. That tells you everything about Liam Delap. It was never someone flying past on a skateboard with some speakers. Liam Delap wasn't signed to be the player that he was last summer. He was given the number 19 shirt and ended up being the player he was. So Julio Enciso took 9, didn't he, when he arrived in the January transfer window. Certainly didn't do it a disservice, did he, Julio? But I like to, call me old-fashioned, but I like to see a proper out-and-out striker with the number 9 on his back. For some, it can weigh heavy, that number. For others, I think it's a real show of faith. It's a confidence boost, and I think in the case of George Hirst, someone who had to who's had some injury issues, he had to watch from the sidelines last season. I think that's going to really puff him up going into this season. He's had his Scotland recognition recently. He's had his new contract, of course, the new 4-year contract. Now it looks like he's going to be given the number 9. Strip away the goals yesterday. I thought his 45-minute performance looked sharp. I thought he was making the ball stick. I thought his link play was good. So I'm excited to see what's loading for George Hirst going into this season.